Check. 1, 2, 3. I'm in my new place now, so I'm hoping that all of this works properly and things are smooth and there's no issues on stream today. But if you're here on the VOD channel, welcome. Good to see a VOD channel viewers. Or if you're interested in Starfield and you just randomly clicked on this, I'm probably going to upload this in 2 different VODs. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we should probably talk about the massive, giant space elephant in the room that is Starfield. So I'll wait until my chat, says hello. Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Happy, what is today? Monday. Happy Monday. You know what's funny is the last stream that we did.
Thank you, kind sir.
What was it on? Oh, thank you very much. You are all far too kind. Good to see everybody. Is that Fusion Broom? Thank you very much for the tier 1.
Thank you, kind sir.
Joov.
Kev, thank you as well. Thank you for the tier 1 for 11 months, almost at 1 whole entire year. I appreciate the support. Thank you all. The move did go well. Thank you for asking. I have basically the exact same setup as before, although heads up, my lighting isn't that great, so the green screen is definitely gonna gray out in a few areas. So just to give you guys, everybody in chat and everybody on the VOD channel kind of a breakdown, this VOD is going to go up. I'm probably gonna cut it and do 2 different uploads, because on the first part of this stream, we're going to go through the entire Starfield Direct. I have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things I would like to discuss, because I know for a fact over the next few months when we're recording for challenges and stuff like that, people are going to ask, what do you think of Starfield? Are you excited for Starfield? What do you want to see in Starfield? Blah, 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 all that stuff. There was a lot of fucking information. So I feel like it would be good to just go through everything, talk about the things that I like, what I'm a little bit skeptical of, and all that stuff. So we're going to talk Starfield for the first probably hour or 2 of this stream.
Hi, Joov. How was the move?
Thank you, everybody, for the subscriptions and all the support. I very much appreciate that. Obsolete, thank you for the tier 1 for 5 months. Duh Kronga, thank you for the tier 1. And Subtox, thank you as well. How was the move? The move was great.
God, how can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill
Happy
a
Monday.
God? Shame on you, sweet Sarah.
The first Dagoth wave at my new place, and on the new night show featuring our new co-host, Gary Charlie. Timestamps down below. If you're on the VOD channel, we'll have stuff laid out. ! Young Scrolls as well. Scrolls. There we go. Everybody say hello to Gary. Say hi to Gary. Remember to be nice to Gary. Okay, so we're going to bring up the Starfield Direct and just kind of go through the whole thing again. I think I've probably watched it 3 or 4 times right now. I've watched other people break it down. I've kind of broken it down in my own head. I took a bunch of notes on it just because I want to be, relatively, I don't know. I don't want to be like super researched on it or be like the person to ask questions about. But I do think it's important that I educate myself as best as possible when I try to talk about it, because this game is going to be surrounded in all sorts of discourse, console war, all that kind of nonsense. Who said fuck you, Gary? Apologize right now. Chicken pizza. Apologize to Gary. Okay? Incredibly rude. Easgromore Spoon, thank you for the tier 1. Okay, so let me get this out of the way first, before we actually go into the breakdown. I thought that the show for Starfield was absolutely fantastic. Okay? Let's just get that general thing out of the way. Oh, and big caveat here. All right, to anybody, if this is the first time you've ever seen me talk, I am a total shill. I love BGS open worlds. I'm very, kind of a conflict of interest here. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I am totally on board the hype train. But there are a couple of things, and before we actually get into the breakdown, which I think is mostly good, I would like to start with the bad. And so let's just rip this Band-Aid off, because this was pretty disappointing. Starfield is 30 frames on console. It's locked. It is a locked 30 FPS experience on console. Now, all the footage we've seen so far has been in 30 frames. You're always interrupting me. I'm trying to make a... K-Mac, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That is very kind of you.
How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Metaphor.
K-Mac, thank you. Very much appreciated. Thank you. That's twice now. That's 2 Dagoth waves. I totally lost my train of thought there for a sec. But with the game being 30 FPS locked on console, the I guess good thing about that is all the footage that we've seen so far has been in 30 frames. And all the footage that we will see as we go through the Direct will be in 30 frames. And I thought, even in the, way that we've seen it, it's looked great. So it's not like we were getting this amazing 120 FPS in every single showcase, and then all of a sudden they pull the rug out and go, oops, hey, by the way, on console it looks like this. Although I will say, objectively, console has a worse, it is an objectively, in my opinion, worse experience than it will be on PC. I think it'll be playable. I think it'll be fun. You know how it is, but gotta rip that Band-Aid off real quick, because I think that will take this from what is shaping up to be a really, really cool experience. It's definitely going to take it down for some people. And I absolutely get it. If there's anybody out there who sees, oh, it's going to be at 30 frames on, the new consoles and it's an exclusive, I'm going to skip it for now, or I'm going to wait till I get a PC. Totally understand that. There are 2 more complaints that I have that we can kind of bring them up as the show goes on. And I actually do want to bring up one of them here. So, spoiler alert, if you don't want any spoilers at all for Starfield, or for any of the things that will happen in Starfield, or the characters that you can run into in Starfield, skip ahead, go off the stream. This is a very light spoiler, because it was an amazing reveal to show at the showcase, and it was a self-aware kind of thing that they showed, but I'm going to say it, and it's going to be a tiny spoiler, so if you want absolutely no spoilers, mute me, but I'm going to say this now.
I'm a god. How can you kill a god?
No, what? K-Mac. Oh, I saw, okay. I thought that was like a lot more. But thank you. 5 is also a lot. So, K-Mac, once again, I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, kind sir.
Okay, spoiler warning.
First trimester of Sub Baby almost over.
First semester, so... Yeah, okay, we're not celebrating trimesters for sub babies. We don't know. You get it at 9 months. We don't get to go through trimesters. Okay, spoiler alert is totally out of the way. That's your last warning. The adoring fan in Starfield was an absolutely amazing reveal in the trailer, and it gave me the biggest smile on my face ever, and I grinned like a kid, and I actually was like laying on my back, looking at my phone, kicking my legs up like, oh my god, no way.
Thank you,
I loved it. I loved it. But I will say, I am a bit bummed that, myself and lots of other people who are going to play this game on launch and are going to stream this game and are really looking forward to it and have been playing Bethesda games for a really long time, if they were watching that reveal or they've watched any of the stuff leading up to Starfield's release, then they are kind of robbed of that moment, because everybody has seen in every Starfield preview that you can take a perk that gives you an adoring fan, and I think everybody across the board would have taken that trait and would have been greeted with not just the adoring fan, but almost line for line, the same lines from Oblivion, the same voice actor. It's still Craig Seckler, who is, if I was power ranking my Bethesda voice actors, he's up there. I love all of Craig Seckler's characters, and the fact that it's just a carbon copy of straight up the adoring fan, I'm a little disappointed that I don't get to see him genuinely for the first time and have a genuine reaction to it, because it would have been awesome. It was awesome in the reveal, but I am a little bit bummed in hindsight that it was spoiled. I need to catch up on a lot of these alerts. You guys have all been very kind, and I had to get that little rant out of the way, because for the most part, the rest of what I have to say is very positive. Sweet Beat Meat, thank you for the tier 1. Drunken Black Jack, as opposed to sober Blackjack. I don't know. Oh, Black. I thought it was Jack Black. Oh, Jack Black. I got it wrong. But thank you for the Prime. Space Llama, thank you for the tier 1. Nora Honeybee, thank you for the tier 1.
How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Larabar.
Exclamation point Young Scrolls whenever that alert plays. Make sure to go support their channel. They are fantastic. K-Mac, thank you again for 10 tier 1 subs. That is incredibly kind of you. And I appreciate that very much. So, oh, I meant to say,
I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Larabar.
yeah, somebody probably clicked on this VOD on the second channel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see somebody break down Starfield. You know, like I can't wait. I've never played one of the Bethesda games. I'm looking forward to seeing what other people have to say about this because I thought it looked cool. And instead, it's just look at that over and over. Sweet Beat, thank you very much for gifting 5 subs to the community. You are all incredibly kind. And Light Hero, thank you for the Prime. I had one more. The one other dumb thing, not Starfield related, is go figure. It's the total thing I would do. I didn't realize this until after last stream when we were doing Skyrim Bingo, which is what we will be doing after we go through Starfield. That ended up being like by far the largest stream I've ever had. So go figure, immediately after that stream, I had to take a break so we could finish the next project on the channel and take care of getting moved. Holy crap, moving an entire setup is a bitch. It is a pain. And my lighting is still not great.
Thank you, kind
But,
sir.
okay.
Starfield talk? Hell yes.
Yes, watching. And we're finally about to actually just start going through the trailer itself. So don't worry, I got it pulled up. I think I have the audio working properly. It should be good. This is kind of what I mean, though, by my green screen lighting being a little bit off. If you can see this gray space that's just in the way. Also, the speedrun timer for later is down, boy. There you go. Okay, from the top, where'd chat go? I lost chat. There you are, chat. I found you. Okay, I've watched this like 3 or 4 times already. Let me know how the audio is, all that stuff. But I need to look through my notes here.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to Bethesda Game Studios.
Hello, Mr. Howard.
You know, we've been so lucky over the decades.
Okay, first complaint. Where's the leather jacket, Todd? It is it's noticeable.
Make the kind of games that we love here, and that's thanks
Todd
to
looks
all
old.
of
I think
you.
Todd's actually
From the Elder
aged really
Scrolls
well.
to Fallout. We love creating these worlds and playing in them just as much as you do. And throughout all that time, we'd often talk about
Like, okay, I mean, he's got to be what? He's pushing 50? Hairline? Boom. That hairline is great. Middle part. I mean, I don't think he's aging.
I'm a god. How can you kill a god?
Not very hard. Not hard to age well when you're very rich.
I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Larabar.
Yeah, we can go full screen. All right, K-Mac, I appreciate that. Thank you once again. It's very kind of you. Thank you for supporting the channel. And go support Young Scrolls as well. All of you. All right, back to it.
take that feeling of being who you want to be.
He's
and exploring a new
53?
world,
Get
but
the
set
fuck
it in
outta here.
space, where you weren't really limited in where you could go or what you could do.
He looks 40.
And that is Starfield. Obviously, we've come a long way since then.
Okay, this is one of my favorite parts of the whole video, actually. Okay, ready? They're going through their catalog of games, right? Right. Right, we go. Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout, Skyrim, Fallout 4, and boom! And then they cut it off. Right.
We've done so much together.
Right
but,
before
well,
76
we've
could
never
be
tried to
fully
make a
in frame.
game like this. Today, you'll get to hear from many on the team and see so much of what we think makes our game special. So let's jump in and take a look.
Another thing is Einon Zur is popping off. Einon Zur is absolutely, like, this is his showcase right now. And whoever edited this and put it together, I did see somebody on Twitter take credit for compiling the entire presentation. They did an incredible job. Some of the cinematic shots they're able to get in engine, I'm praying we have access to just by using regular console commands in game.
Starfield is our first new universe in over 25 years, but it's still a Bethesda RPG.
Oh, this one's not in
through
4K.
and through, where
I was
you
watching
step
one
into
earlier
a
that
new
was in
world
4K.
And you get that feeling of unlimited possibilities. But this time, it's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds. Because the choice of
Pretty.
where to go, it's not
All that
ours,
stuff.
it's yours. And it wasn't until now that we had the technology
I think some of those
to
like
create
dinosaurs that have been walking around look sick.
from the rocks at your feet to the mountains in the distance, to the people and creatures that live in these worlds. That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes,
can go
you can
there.
visit it too.
I think it was a pretty
Realistically simulate
self-aware.
the galaxy around you.
The showcase in general
Our
felt pretty
next-generation
self-aware.
lighting model uses real-time global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere.
Yes. I'll throw on subtitles. Looks like my arm's a little bit in the way of them. I'll move myself as well, just a tad. I can move myself back later. Where am I going? Where am I going? I'll be up here. I'll chill up here, chat.
We also have an all-new animation system.
Wait. Oh, there we go.
And of course, you can play it
I'm
in
not very
third
good at
person,
this.
Thank you, kind sir.
and you can play it in first person.
Radage, thank you very much for the tier 1 and for 8 whole months. Love you.
We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game given its scale. That usually involves exploring an
So
area
I have
you've
one
landed
point
in.
here that I want to make.
You can collect resources.
Okay, so right there. Can I like move this? Oh my gosh, I can move the subtitles. I didn't know YouTube was this interactive. Okay, so I do have on here as one other complaint about the show, and this is like the last one that I have in my thing. Why are we doing the No Man's Sky stuff right away and saving like the Starfield shit for 5-6 minutes into the show? Like we did this last time. Like obviously there are going to be some similarities between this game and No Man's Sky. They share some DNA. Cool, whatever. But like the first thing, that's the first thing we went with this time. That was the only complaint I really had. Why we got to start there? I mean, mining rocks and doing all that, collecting resources, that's all good fun and exploring different planets and all that. But like, let's get to the Starfield stuff. Like it kind of starts off with the No Man's Sky stuff.
And maybe even
That's
stumble
it.
upon something
Dumb little
unexpected.
nitpick. Because there's a lot of cool shit in this breakdown. Hipfire looks a little OP in some of these clips. Unless they did show that there's some kind of magnetic guns or ammo.
We do love stuff and all of the items allowing you
Okay, another thing. This is good. Obviously, I'm very happy to see that there's, loose items laid around like there are in the other games. How many, kind of junk items are there in the real world? I think it really is what sets apart BGS open worlds for me is the clutter. I love the clutter, but I know it's so dumb and it's definitely not something to really show off that much in a like gameplay marketing type thing.
pick everything up.
But, I want to see this stuff get hit by a grenade, and I want to see this little juice box, this space Capri Sun. I want to see it get hit with a grenade and fly across the room or something like that.
And you can view all that in your data menu.
Can I pick it up and just throw it?
This is the hub for everything you're doing, from your skills to your ship, your missions, and your inventory.
I think the UI looks fucking phenomenal. Actually, I have that on here as one of my big positives. One of the things that I loved. I think that the UI in general is really sexy.
We love to
Which
pack a ton of
might be the
detail
first time in
every
any
outfit,
Bethesda game
from all of your weapons
that the UI has been
to
really good.
spacesuits to food. We just obsess over the details, and food. We obsess over food. When you're done exploring, you can walk back or fast travel to your ship. We have companions and crew you can take with you. I left Vasco here back at my ship.
Welcome back, Captain
I thought this was Skyrim
And
2.
he can even say your name. Let's head out.
It pretty much is. It pretty much is.
Our mission was to convey the wonder and
This is a theme that's going to pop up throughout the rest of the showcase, by the way. But I am really glad that they moved away from the previous showcases that they've done, where it's the Todd Howard show, and Todd Howard's here, and Todd Howard's doing this. And I mean, he's one person, albeit an incredibly important person, on a massive, massive team. And I get it. He's the face guy. He's charismatic. He's a good showman. He's great on stage. Everybody gets excited to see him. He's all the memes. He takes all the criticisms. He gets all the praise. But it's a huge team. And I'm really, really glad that throughout this entire showcase, they let a lot of the other developers shine and share what they like and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really, really nice that this wasn't just the Todd Howard show.
majesty of space exploration, to evoke the romance of the golden age of early spaceflight. And we've been referring to this approach as NASA punk. This means
I saw a lot of people joking around about how people just add punk to something.
And relatable.
For us, it's that contrast. That's where the visual interest is. Obviously, the NASA, which is the rigid, hard.
But I do think that the art style and
then
vibe
punk, which
looks
is
very
more
cool.
art style.
I loved the
You can see
Expanse.
that visual style
So
coming
I like
through
this
in your
style.
ship. Your ship is your home for you and your crew. And like many of the spaces in
Walking
the game,
around
it
in the
has a
ship while
slightly
in space
retro and
confirmed.
analog touch.
W.
A bit of lo-fi rather than sci-fi, where everything is well used, worn, and lived in.
Alrighty. What's the plan, Captain?
I assume that that's our
This is
name.
your star map. It starts with the planet you're currently on. You
Right,
can
like
see
we
all of
had
its
Lone Wanderer, Soul Survivor, the Courier. Is it just the Captain?
info
I
and
kinda like the
resources.
Captain.
You can choose a landing spot or fast travel to known
Skyrim Punk.
locations.
Yeah, I want a game that's
Stepping
Skyrim
out
Punk. That's
further, You
avowed.
can view all the planets in the system. Obviously, the game is big, and it's here you can see planets that have key locations, missions, or life on them, versus the many planets that are barren but resource heavy. Zoom out even further to see all the systems in this part of the galaxy. Here, you can plot a course to ones that are light years away. This uses your ship's grav drive to fold space and jump to these systems. And you will need to upgrade your ship and skills if you want to jump to the most distant ones. But for now, we'll plot a course.
So that will have to probably wait until, we actually get the game and see how it plays out, because I would assume that upgrading your grav drive or whatever it is how you can access later content. Are there going to be ways in the game to where you could only focus on just getting a decent grav drive, so at level 5 you could fuck off to the depths of space on super high level areas and maybe challenge yourself or go on a cool run like that? I hope something like that is possible. I hope that the grav drive is something that you could upgrade through your own methods rather than having it be locked to a certain quest.
Centauri system.
But that we won't know until we
find the
actually play
city
it.
Of New Atlantis.
I definitely see Elite Dangerous a bit Wanderlust, especially when they get into combat.
Welcome to UC Space. Maintain your current course while we scan your ship's cargo.
Contraband scans, W. I think that's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
You are cleared for landing at New Atlantis.
How will it actually play out? No clue. Can only go off of what we got, until we actually are able to play this and go hands-on. Probably not leave places like New Atlantis.
As soon as you land in a city like New Atlantis, your eyes are guided upwards to just these boundless, vast buildings.
It's the biggest city.
Can I just immediately start opening fire?
But also in the amount of
Are there police? How does that kind of work? Could I just launch a rocket into that crowd?
When we're designing a city is obviously what supports the story. We try and tell as many small stories as possible.
This is a Colony War memorial.
It's a few moments of gameplay that make the space feel like it's full of real characters that are going about their day-to-day lives.
It's paralyzing if you really stop and think about it.
Buddy, it's coffee.
It's also where your adventure with Constellation begins.
Well, Welcome to
All
Constellation.
right, I got a hot take here, actually.
We have a lot to talk about.
By the time you
So,
meet them,
facial animation, I have very low standards. I have watched Piper argue her way into Diamond City like 500 times throughout my life. So for me, I think this is a massive step forward for the facial animation. I saw some people saying it still looks pretty meh. I guess in terms of other AAA games, it's underwhelming, but I think it looks like a huge improvement.
In the galaxy, and they're trying to find the answers to some of humanity's biggest questions.
The artifacts are so different, so alien.
The
I'm
Piper
certain
face.
One of them reached out and spoke to you. The artifact, if you could place it on the table here.
Oh my god. Look at how it's coming together.
I think that line was made like strictly for this trailer.
Outside the settled systems.
It's definitely an eclectic cast of characters. You've got Sarah Morgan, the ex-soldier and adventurer, now Constellation's leader. Mateo, the theologian who believes that there's definitely something else out there.
It looks like recon armor from Fallout 3.
Gifted scientist and Sarah Morgan's protege. And Walter, a very successful businessman in the settled systems and Constellation's financier.
We'll call him capitalism guy.
As long as you have the money.
That's the venture capitalist.
Vlad, the
Thank you, kind sir.
Sam Coe, the former space cowboy.
Squizguard, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Barrett.
You know what I hate about these pirates? Completely resistant to my otherwise
1 year, Quantum, thank you very much.
Thank you, kind sir.
irresistible charm.
We were year of Joov. Be
The
a
journey
shame
you
if
take
it
with
interrupted
Constellation
the
is just
Space
the first
Skyrim
of
video.
many
You did
you'll
interrupt
embark
it.
on. The settled systems is
Incredibly
home to all
rude.
kinds of different stories, people, and adventures for you to uncover.
Like, some of those are fucking gnarly looking. And whatever the hell that thing is shows up right there and it never appears again.
The United Colonies is where you'll find New Atlantis, the first major human settlement in space. The people who live here value law, discipline, and the legacy of humanity. They consider themselves the true children of Earth.
You ever think of joining up with the Vanguard? Help the United Colonies, even get your UC citizenship?
I feel like these guys are definitely going to be
The only
dickheads.
city within the United Colonies. The city of Sidonia on Mars to this day serves as the largest.
I don't know. I
mining
feel like I'm
facility
immediately
for
going to
the
just start
United
trying to open fire on the UC. Disrespect the law and you disrespect
Beyond
me.
the
Yeah,
United
they're the
Colonies
Whiterun
reach,
Guard.
You might find yourself in a much more wild and independent coalition of star systems.
I think that the shot
is Freestar Collective Space.
Yeah, okay, so this, my quality isn't great. It's a bit blurry on the re-upload, but this is easily the best shot in the entire thing. It looks like Red Dead Redemption and Fallout had a baby. It's a great shot.
The capital of the
That was my
Freestar
favorite one of the whole
Collective
thing.
is Aquila City.
It looks like Megaton.
Stone Route Inn
It
is
does.
an Aquila City fixture.
A ranger relies on judgment and intuition to do what's best for the people.
Neon started out as a fishing platform, but is now known throughout the settled systems as a pleasure city where almost anything goes.
If you've got morality issues, this definitely isn't the
It's
job
basically
for you.
Coruscant. It's Coruscant. It's Coruscant.
Ryujin is hiring the best and brightest of today for our future tomorrow.
Everyone has been chewed up and ground up by Neon.
I agree, Magica. I would
Try
hope
not to
that
get yourself killed,
the politics between the factions are
Outside the bounds of civilized space, there are still plenty of unclaimed systems to explore, but these areas are also home to the most hostile factions in the galaxy.
The great serpent hungers. All heathens shall be made dust in time.
A new face. This is the face of a brave.
That looks like Cyberpunk. That looks like a character from Cyberpunk. The background looks Cyberpunk.
They think the galaxy.
Speaking of, I am excited for that expansion.
They are wrong. It belongs to the Crimson Fleet. It always has.
So anybody who's watched The Expanse, the Crimson Fleet is the Drummer. What's Drummer's faction in The Expanse? Does anybody know? The Belters. Yeah. The Crimson Fleet just reminds me of the Belters.
In Starfield, we're pushing our cities and settlements further than we ever have before. It's all there, waiting for
Beach?
you.
There is a beach. I want to go to that place and light it up.
So, ready to get out there?
Throughout the galaxy, there are so many things to see and stories to experience. But the most important story is the one that
I'm just imagining them like being set, like sitting on the couch being told like, okay, pretend you're having fun and explaining something.
People are going to be really excited when they see all of the improvements we've made.
One of the biggest overhauls was done through our character generation system. We scanned a wide range of faces from different age groups and ethnicities. And by mixing and matching all that data, we were able to create highly detailed and diverse characters.
In Fallout 4, all of the faces are just Nate, but slightly altered, especially for the male characters. They're all just Nate, but like they're all like a distant relative of Nate, it feels like in Fallout 4. And in Oblivion and Skyrim, you have either like for most of just like the humans that are not elves, you have white guy. Like that's kind of the human character you can make in Elder Scrolls.
So any character you see,
obviously Redguard,
always is a character you could make yourself.
But this is pretty cool that there's a wide range, it looks like, when you're actually making your character.
Come on.
That being said,
take it easy.
I know this is gonna piss people off how many times I'm pausing this just to talk, but I'm a little bummed not to see humanoid aliens. I think it's possible it could play into the story and maybe the expansion that is already planned. We'll see. But that would have been cool to dive into like alien culture and backgrounds.
Advantage. Mentally, the jury's still out. You know who you are? New recruit for Argos Extractors? Ring any bells? Any of this look familiar?
So this is our mirror in the bathroom.
You start your character creation journey as though you're cycling through employee records. You'll pick from a lineup of 40 presets, and that'll be your starting point. Your journey from there can be as detailed or as quick as you want it to be.
I do really like the UI.
This system has more to offer than ever before.
It's also the simplest character generation system we ever had. We let the player get as close as possible to make whatever they want. With the various facial morphs you can blend together, the dermesthetic and makeup, blemishes, scars, piercings.
Beards could use a little touch up.
It's a lot.
Maybe there's more options in there I'm just not seeing.
Character creation is more than just how you look. This is also where you start to decide who you want to be. That's where backgrounds
Although they are better than Oblivion beards. If anybody remembers the beards in Oblivion.
Give you a bit of backstory and start you out with 3 basic skills.
Here's where the stuff starts that I really like. Here's where I started to be like, okay, now the show's starting to get some legs. Up until this point, I was kind of like, all right, I kind of know, I kind of knew what to expect in these areas of the game, but here's where the showcase started to kind of get some legs and really make me go, oh, I like that. I really like that.
Chef to Dusty. You know, the crew still has a betting pool about which restaurant.
Because background plus traits.
What's great about backgrounds is you never know when yours is going to come in handy. You could be in the middle of a fancy restaurant talking to some guy, and suddenly you learn he needs a beast hunter to help track down a monster.
Fine. I probably should stick to professionals anyway, given what happened the last time.
We're also giving you the option to customize your build even further by letting you pick up to 3 traits. Traits are completely optional, and they come with their own advantages and disadvantages.
This kind of stuff just opens up the roleplay sandbox a lot more, where in terms of, we'll talk about the combat sandbox, but in terms of the roleplay sandbox itself, this is a massive step up from Fallout 4 and Skyrim, where in terms of roleplay, they're kind of homogenous in a way, where this feels like from the beginning, you already have a different experience than your friend.
You could choose
where everybody has, and if you go to Fallout 4 and you go to Skyrim, I feel like everybody had a really similar first 5 hours with those games. You leave Helgen, you look at the nice little overdrop, you walk along the path, you hit the standing stones, you go to Riverwood, you end up clearing Bleak Falls Barrow, then you bop on over to Whiterun, you start the main story, you get your first dragon shout. Kind of like that. Am I wrong here? And Fallout 4 sort of similar, where I like how this is, it really opens up the sandbox of just like, even if it doesn't have a massive change on the actual game itself, it opens it up a little bit more. And I really appreciate that.
Your biggest fan.
Now, of course, this was fantastic.
Really you? He'll join your crew and he'll give you gifts if you're willing to put up with his constant commentary.
I can't believe I get to stand near you, breathing the same air.
I've got to have every molecule.
My favorite trait is kid stuff. You have to pay some credits to support your parents, but they're very sweet and it's really fun to go visit them.
Honey, we got ourselves a visit.
I'm gonna kill the shit out of my parents. We're just letting you guys get a heads up. Spoiler for the first time we play Starfield on the channel. We're going to take him. We're gonna take him with us, the adoring fan, and we're gonna kill the shit out of our parents.
Oh my god!
I came across some hostile zealots in space, but because I had chosen a trait that made me the same religion as them, I was able to get by without any issues.
Again, just expanding that roleplay sandbox. The more things that can happen on one playthrough and then not happen on another, we'd love that. We've needed more of that. It was certainly lacking in, their previous two titles.
There's another great one that gives you a damage buff when your health is low, but mercenaries will randomly show up and try to kill you.
See, that's fucking cool.
No matter what you choose, there will be plenty of ways for you to tell.
And for a region-locked experience, if I can constantly get attacked by enemies, that's just a plus.
Your story. And if you want to remove a trait,
subtitles are covering up some of the elements.
What a view! It's a feast for the eyes. Off we go to another adventure.
Boom.
We'll let you discover that on your own.
Love that Easter egg, though. This is where Einon Zur starts going crazy. Can't wait for the OST.
Once you've built the perfect...
Hold on, who is this? Who is this guy? Why he needs a title right under him? If he's an art, that's if he just casually whipped that up on the whiteboard, that's pretty impressive.
Character.
Yes, it is the exact same voice actor as the original Adoring Fan.
That's when your journey can really begin.
Craig Seckler.
We took what we loved about skills and perks from our previous games and put them together to create an all-new skill system. Each time you level up, you get a skill point, which can be used to unlock or rank up skills. Ranks are unlocked by completing challenges associated with that skill. Challenges become increasingly difficult as you work your way to higher ranks. With our 5 different skill trees and 4 ranks per skill, there's a lot to choose from.
How many is that, actually? I kind of want to do the math on it.
Per skill. With our
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
5 different skill
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
Trees and 4 ranks per
34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50.
Skill. There's a lot to choose.
51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66.
Choose from.
67, 68. 69, nice. 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83 times 4 is 342, 328. So, big number sometimes is just used as like a selling point. But I think what this really shows here is, you level up in game, you get 1 skill point, and it's kind of a blend of some of their older, it kind of takes from the Elder Scrolls in terms of using a skill or using, what your character should be specializing in will allow you to spend that skill point and rank that up. So there's kind of a combination of the Fallout 4 perk points, as well as you still have to specialize. And with this many, you really are going to have to kind of pick and choose and specialize. So I hope, and we'll have to wait, of course, until we get the game, that there are some really fun ones that if you get, let's say you just stick to 1, like I'm getting this to level 4 as fast as possible. I hope it does really expand that sandbox and once again, just kind of create more variety so that everybody kind of has different shit going on.
I like
like the
that is a lot.
xenosociology skill because it lets you mind control aliens.
That's just animal friend.
Out of the gate, I'm boost packing everywhere.
This is my favorite action shot. That looked cool.
I like maxing out my physical tree so I can get neuro strikes and just punch my way through combat. That one's a lot of fun.
The melee does actually look pretty cool. There's not a lot of it though in the whole show.
I'm very much a stealth player. So, I'm out there pickpocketing everyone.
Here's your stealth archer.
My favorite part about being stealthy is slowly creeping through vents like you're in a movie and then jumping out and springing on people.
Whenever possible, I like to talk my way through situations.
This area's off limits. Fine, I'll issue you an access card.
I'm more of a run and gun player. I like doing the death from above thing where I boost pack.
Some of those
over guys
reactions
and I
actually
throw
look really
landmines
good.
at 'em.
And that's fun. So in terms of the combat sandbox, I think that the jetpack does open up a lot, especially if it has its own specific upgrades and perks just for the jetpack, just for your movement. I think it makes the combat sandbox much better.
I like blowing stuff up.
Sorry, I'll try not to pause it. Is it annoying how much I keep pausing it?
Exploration is a key aspect of all our games. In Starfield, there are full star systems with new life, resources, and adventures.
Full star systems, not 4. I had to correct the subtitles.
Our team works hard to strike a balance between fun and realism. We study data from NASA and a multitude of other sources to help us make the world feel believable.
What if their multitude of other sources just included some guy alone in his basement blogging about space, just making shit up? Craig in his basement, just kind of like thinking about space, just writing shit on
From the way we
there.
approached planetary atmospheres to the way we placed biomes based on the planet's distance from the sun. Once we had created a grounded world, we could start looking at all the things that make that world fun.
I'm excited to get in game and start encountering some of the giant
When you leave a
monsters.
planet and head into space,
because there looks like a lot of variety.
Navigating asteroid fields, having chance meetings with interesting strangers, dogfighting in space, and exploring derelict ships. It's all out there. Ultimately, it's about rewarding your curiosity, because whether it's on the surface of a planet,
curious.
the alleys of a city, or the vastness of space, you never know what you'll find.
Right, can I just throw landmines around the street? Like, can we just... Sammy, they do talk about that.
Space exploration is possible thanks to your ship.
This part's actually pretty
Your ship
wild.
is almost like having another character or home you can make all your own. I think you'll be blown away by the amount of stuff you can do.
This was actually pretty surprising.
I'm sure you can find something you like. Customize and upgrade that ship.
They showed a lot more here than I was expecting.
And hire a crew to keep it up and running. And it all starts in spaceports.
I do want to talk about the sandbox again in a second
Every
here.
spaceport has a ship technician where you can purchase, sell, and modify ships. Anything I can help you with? Maybe you start off with a speedy fighter that's perfect for bounty hunting. Then you might round out your ship roster with a hulking space freighter to run cargo missions, or even do a little smuggling.
I think I want.
Though, we're going to take our starting.
I want the smallest, most mobile ship possible, so I could just. If it works that way.
Frontier, and make some changes. You can customize and upgrade everything.
Okay, so here's a pretty cool graphic that they show. Get out of here, subtitles. Boo, accessibility.
And you see here.
So they've got all these different parts of the ship: the cowling, the shield generator, the docker, the fuel tanks, the grav drive, the weapons, the hub, engines, cockpit, cargo hold, reactor, landing gears bay, right? All that stuff. It just kind of expands that sandbox that I was talking about. So there's like the roleplay sandbox feels a lot more in-depth than previous Bethesda Game Studios games, and the combat sandbox looks good. They get a little bit more into it later in the show, actually. But there's also kind of a ship sandbox. How are you going to build your ship? How's everybody's ships going to be different? Who's going to build, collections? I can't wait to see the first Dick ships that people start uploading. Will people be able to just upload different ship builds to the Nexus? So if you want to download one and try it out, you can do that.
And you have 2 ways to do that.
Long time no see. You can glad to be back less than 3.
Shark Blossom, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Half a year. 3 more months, and you can name your Twitch baby.
You can quickly upgrade individual systems like your weapons or shields. Or
do I think they learned from Fallout 76 launch, or will this be unplayable day one? I mean, we won't know, of course, until we have it. There seems to be a confidence in this show where I think it'll be all right. This just feels like a different showcase than a lot of the other ones we've seen.
You can deep dive and enter the ship builder mode. Here you can change
I could be
anything,
wrong.
From the systems to the look and layout.
Could be total copium.
Adding a new habitat module can give you more room for crew. Adding cowling can change your ship's overall silhouette. An improved grav drive allows for longer distance space jumps. You can even fully customize your paint job.
I hope the grav drives aren't quest locked. That would be a bit of a bummer.
The parts you choose to build with don't just affect your ship's stats. They'll also affect what you can do inside your ship. You can have modules for crafting or for storing and displaying your weapons.
Ship acting as a mobile base is sweet.
Starfield's in-game ship manufacturers bring their own.
It looks like you can completely avoid the settlement building aspect of it and house some of the more critical infrastructure just in your ship, which I think is pretty cool.
Can feel to every piece of your ship, from living quarters to cargo holds, mess halls, and control rooms. Our modified Frontier is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways
MVP of the entire show, by the way, Jamie Mallory.
Prime ship.
I know I said that Einon Zur was the MVP of the show, but Jamie Mallory actually, she's awesome. Like, she just reminds me of how I'd play the game.
I make them look like animals. The HMS Platypus, as I called it, where it had a giant tail to it. And we've done spiders, we've done mechs.
Someone played Zelda.
So it's really whatever your imagination is.
And while you can build your home among the stars the way you want to, you're probably
People
not
are gonna
the
build some
only
funny
person
ships.
who will call your ship home.
Ready to lift off when you are, Captain.
Engines ready.
The Frontier is fueled and ready, Captain.
Some of the members of Constellation can join you on your journey. These companions can serve on your crew, and they'll always be there when you travel.
Fat Lizard, thank you for the prime.
Traveling together until we either find an artifact or this lead runs dry.
Each companion comes with their own valuable skills for your ships and outposts.
Yes.
As
Yes.
well as unique quest lines.
Yes.
Eventually.
So hard yes to all of that. Because if you think about the settlements in Fallout 4, again, it's kind of homogenous in terms of like there are the specific, followers who get there, and then everyone else is just kind of basic who will like end up at the settlements. There are the special settlers that you can get, but they're very limited, and everybody at the end of the day, at the end of a huge playthrough, is going to have the same 3 or 4 special settlers, and then the companions that are in that game are going to be the ones. So everyone's going to kind of have a similar story, but it depends on the variety of different crew members and companions you can put on your ship and the skills that they have. If all that is,
some friendships might blossom into romance.
Diverse.
I don't know that I've ever really loved anyone.
Cringy romance dialogue, sign me up.
And if you're looking for a little extra help on
But if everybody is able to have, and there's a wide range of different combinations of crew people that you can have on your ship, I think that that could be a huge plus. And it again kind of expands that sandbox that was really my main hope going into this. Was I hope that the gameplay sandbox looks very diverse, and it does right now look like everybody could have a very different you know, approach to their first playthrough. We still got to play it.
Your ship, you can always hire additional crew at spaceports.
Got any room on your ship for some?
Boom, right here. So shotgun certification, ballistics 2-star, particle beam weapon systems.
Someone like me?
That shit's so fucking cool. I love that shit. I want to go and roam around these towns and be like, okay, is there a recruitable companion somewhere around here? God, if they fucking land that.
You'll also meet potential crew members out in the world.
Still think there might be a spot for me on your ship? I gotta get off this rock.
Yes. Oh, yes, so hard. And I love this UI. Once again, I love the UI. I love the little badges. I just think that they're almost like Space Boy Scout badges, but I just fucking love the artwork on these. And I love how you get an overview. You know, you don't have to download an awkward terminal mod or some, you know, Creation Club terminal, like some of the stuff in Fallout 4 to like get a view of where my settlers are or where my companions are at or what their fucking job is. You get you get a sleek screen. You can choose where they're at, assign them to a role, and then their skills, you know, kind of do the rest. And this is, again, kind of where the sandbox, like, what if this person, Sam, was in, what if they were in Sarah Morgan's position? Or what if we had Barrett as our follower who followed us on the ground? Or, I don't know. We got to see when it plays out.
Unique skills will...
Again, caveat, I am a shill. I love these games to death. So I am very... Could I please up the video volume or lower mine? I probably... I could turn it up, though. I could turn it up.
Affect how they run.
And sorry, I keep doing this. I guess I'm operating under the assumption that most people have already watched this, but this could also be people's first times watching this, and I apologize if I've kind of hampered the experience. Definitely, if you have not watched the entire showcase on your own, do so and try to find a 4K upload.
Just like companions, most crew members can lend a hand.
Danny,
in the field.
how are you?
Take Bosco, for instance.
He's designed around the core basics of a NASA machine.
Please avoid getting shot. You might die.
I still wanted to give it almost a humanoid personality, so I elongated the limbs. This tends to make
Tales
him
from the
feel
Borderlands,
more human-like
Loaderbot.
and give him a little personality.
It is a shame exploration requires so much bloodshed.
Using the shipbuilding tools and crew selection features in Starfield, you'll be able to build and captain the ship of your dreams. And now, let's take to the sky.
I don't give a fuck that it's a cutscene to go up into space. I'm gonna be honest. Totally get it if that disappoints people, though.
We're putting you in the cockpit of your very own spaceship and telling you that you can do pretty much anything.
Limbs in first
really
person?
Cool for us as developers. Spaceflight should be exciting and dangerous, and you should feel like you're in complete control every step of the way. We've extended that sense of control to ship combat. It's not about just hitting your triggers to fire your weapons. It's a complex dance between your piloting skills and our power allocation
Elite
system.
Dangerous fans, where you at?
Boosting power to your engines
There
will
you
make
go.
your ship faster. Powering up the ground drives will shorten the amount of time it takes before you can make a jump.
Does he just go through the
Your
planet?
weapons and shields means you're ready for a fight. You should always be on your toes because you're not alone out there.
Hot take, this is going to be Einon Zur's best soundtrack. Because I don't think he's ever really nailed combat tracks. He's always done great with main themes and a lot of the more, you know, cinematic tunes. But combat tracks, I feel like I've always been a little lacking in his repertoire. But I think he's smashing it.
Unlocking the targeting control system skill will allow you to zero in on specific subsystems of the ship you target.
Ship VATS? So that's fucking cool. Because what if early on you go, I want to be a good space pilot? and you just invest directly into that skill. Now you haven't invested in any handgun skills or any tech skills or any science skills, but early on, you have an advantage that a lot of other people won't have. And I hope, and I really hope that the rest of the skill trees are similar to this, right? Like, I hope that the skill trees, you know, bring in new mechanics, because that's a mechanic that you get from investing in a skill. And I think it's really fucking cool if investing in certain skills adds more to the sandbox. The more shit that gets thrown into the sandbox, the better.
After destroying an enemy ship, you can loot the remains from your cockpit. You can always turn any ship that engages you into scrap. But you can also take a more personal approach by docking with the enemy vessel and boarding their ship.
Straight up, this is the Expanse, the way they dock. That's hot.
Once you've taken control of an enemy ship, it's yours. Add it to your fleet and retrieve it at...
I have to mention something. So Todd Howard did an interview, about a half-hour interview with IGN after this show aired, and I do suggest anybody go watch it. Ryan McCaffrey, who did the interview for IGN, Worst Gamer, thank you very much for the Prime. Ryan McCaffrey, who did the interview with Todd Howard, he just asked him, you know, what's something cool and emergent that just randomly happened to you randomly, you know, while you were playing recently? And Todd thought on it for a second, and he said, there was a moment where he was walking around on a planet, and then a ship of these bandits came down to attack him, and he went onto the ship and got into a shootout with the bandits, but then the ship took off, and it went up into space. And so his ship is now stuck on the planet ground, and he's inside of this, you know, bandit ship out in the middle of space, which creates this cool unscripted story of, now I have to fight my way off the ship, steal the ship, and get back to my own. I just thought that was relevant considering sort of the section we're in.
But space is way more than fighting for your life. Just like when you're planetside, there are plenty of sights to see and stops to make on the way to your next adventure. Like these massive star yards.
Very excited to see what these look like in person.
Walk the halls, talk to the crew, maybe get talked into buying a whole new ship.
Maybe just start fucking killing everybody.
Let's see about getting you a proper ship, one worthy of you.
Please give us a good
Maybe
NPC sandbox.
Gigantic battleship,
and don't make
like
everyone
the UC
essential.
Vigilance. Or rub elbows with the galaxy's wealthy elite on a cruise ship fit for the stars. There are plenty of personal encounters.
Please let me crash the party and just...
You can hail any ship you come across to trade, swap info, or maybe even commit an act of piracy.
Let's do this.
Is it multiplayer only?
Playing,
No,
I generally
the
go
opposite.
crazy. I definitely go like the more piracy routes. I want to.
Everyone shut up, the MVP is talking.
I board ships. I'm like, this is now mine. I steal all these sandwiches and put them, you know, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for
Sandwich
sandwiches.
physics.
I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out and just start taking things for sandwiches. I don't.
Okay, that looks okay. That is a. Hold on, how many slices of salami is that? That's not 3 slices. The sandwich is too thick. It's got 1 sheet of lettuce, 1 piece of cheese. Those are some thick ass salami. That's salami, right? That's got to be salami on there. What kind of bread is that? It looks it looks like that grain type wheat bread. You know, the kind that has sunflowers speckled throughout. Or oh, is it sourdough? Hold on, those don't look like. They look like holes. If it's sourdough, that's a good fucking sandwich. I love sourdough.
Hero, but I want to go.
If you're able to drop loose items around in the ship and use the ship as a mobile base, and the loose items that you place within the game world don't fucking explode and fly everywhere like in Skyrim, if you can enter like Fallout 4 build mode and individually place little trinkets around the ship and then use the ship as a mobile base with like crafting and all that stuff and collecting, like you can become the hoarder just on your ship instead of always having to go back to your settlement, your main settlement or your satellite base, wherever you have it. That would be great, because this looks like she's returned to the ship after another sandwich expedition and just adding to this loose pile of shit that's in the
Just
cargo
start
bay.
taking things from people as quickly as possible.
Some
Unreal
strangers
transition.
might be looking for a little human connection in the darkness of space.
Hello, stranger. I just finished cooking up some food. If you want to come on over, just pop on by.
I don't think that's
Some of the
Skyrim
best
Grandma.
moments are the ones you discover on your own.
Sweet armor. Looks like Jango Fett.
The thing I love most about Starfield is that it is a Bethesda game through and through. It's really about going to strange new places, meeting interesting people, and getting sidetracked on zany adventures. Then, realizing 2 hours later that you're involved in a completely new story.
You're human. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
That DNA is so present here. It's in our random encounters, it's in our handcrafted quests, and it feels so cool to play it and just make your own path in this universe. There are over 1,000 planets out there, just waiting for you to visit. We want you to feel like explorers, breaking ground on new planets, exploring every inch of a mostly untouched galaxy. We want you to feel hopeful. We want you to feel this sense of awe and wonder, and sometimes a little fear. We're giving you a massive playground and a ton of toys.
It's a pretty
and
badass
just
shot.
setting you free.
All right, so there is one thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is a concern that I have, but if this isn't an issue in the game, then I think that this will be legendary. Like this is just kind of the one thing that I think would make this actually fucking crazy. I mean, obviously, okay, somebody brought up bugs. I kind of do want a little bit of the charming, Bethesda goofiness and quirkiness, right? Obviously, we don't want it to ship broken. That would be devastating, especially if it's good outside of all that. But the pace of how this content arrives to the player is really important. And Bethesda has usually been pretty good at having something thrown your way at a really good pace. The biggest issue I have with games like Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky is that it takes way too long between whatever activity you're doing and something really cool and cinematic just popping off. Like, there are moments in No Man's Sky where I'm playing it and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. What's happening right now is sweet. And then there's a big sort of gap in time. A really big gap in time. And then there's like 30 to 45 seconds of like, oh my gosh, space exploration, super badass, this is fun. And if Starfield can figure out a really good pace of how encounters are delivered to the player, how you move between, exciting moments or maybe the downtime that you want to spend, none of that we're really going to know until we actually play the game. We have no clue. But that's certainly a concern that I have, especially when you think about it this way. What's the big city called? New Atlantis? Let's go back. Where's New Atlantis in here? It was early on. Or okay, we'll use Aquila City just because I could find a frame right here. Okay, so you're playing Starfield. You land at Aquila City. Okay? I am going to pick a direction and I am going to walk for 4 hours straight. What happens in that time? Because we know that the land is generative. Little disappointed there, but I understand it. And we know that handcrafted stuff will just be delivered to you. What is there will be like land masses that are generative and world spaces that are generative, but handcrafted dungeons and structures and encounters will appear. We know that. How often will that happen? If I just walk away from Aquila City and fuck off and just say, you know what, I'm walking today, guys, we're doing a new challenge in Starfield and we're gonna walk. We're gonna do a whole stream and we're gonna walk in one straight line for 10 hours and see how far we can get in game. That'll be a banger of a challenge. That'll be a ton of fun. But, how much downtime is there going to be? Is it going to be like Skyrim, where if you follow the road on Skyrim every I mean, every 45 seconds in Skyrim, there's a wolf that attacks you. You find a little flower. You find a hidden chest. There's a cave entrance you found. You found this thing. You know, if there's a good balance of exploring a place on foot and running into content, jumping into space and then running into content, because you get on your map and you jump between systems, it looks like you land in a system, then you can fly around the different planets that are in there. That's kind of an encounter space, but you can also fast travel. So if you want to just go from bink, bink, bink and jump around places with fast travel, how does that all work? Does that make any sense, or do I sound like a crazy person? Starfield without leaving space. That would be funny as hell. Okay, we'll skip the watch and headset. Although, God, this is a cool as fuck collector's item. I am getting the collector's edition if possible. The collector's edition watch is really fucking cool. And the controller, let me see, where do they show off the controller? The controller is actually unbelievably cool. It has see-through controllers. Does anybody remember the era where like every controller was see-through?
And not only that,
it's pretty sweet.
We created the first ever.
But that has nothing to do with the game. Let's skip forward. There's a lot here.
In every one of our games, we always put so much
Also, AJ, thank you very much for the 50 bits.
Details that breathe life into our worlds. But Starfield isn't just a Bethesda Game Studios world, it's a Bethesda Game Studios galaxy. So why go this big with Starfield?
Come on now.
Because we want to give you freedom on a galactic level. The freedom to experience both the exciting planets and the quiet ones.
Is this going to be a VOD? Yes, I'll
Scanning
upload this separately.
Before you land is a great way to get a sneak peek at the available resources you can use for crafting, building, and customizing.
I think it keeps bringing up my desktop. Fuck off.
What's cool about this whole system that we generate the planet itself as a procedural content, but the handcrafted content itself comes.
Hold on, I just want to make sure that everybody listens and is able to sort of understand what he's saying here, because this is very important, and it leans into the questions that I was asking earlier. It doesn't answer everything, and it does leave a little bit of, okay, how is this going to actually feel to play? So this is kind of an important part.
Crafting, building, and customizing.
I think what's cool about this whole system that we generate the planet itself as a procedural content, but the handcrafted content itself comes as the player explores. Our system builds a planet as the player approaches it. We stitch together a block of terrain. After that, we have the system that adds interesting locations for the player to explore, creatures to encounter.
That part is kind of a bummer. Cave discovered. Well, I mean, what kind of cave? Or like abandoned research facility.
Or in plants to pick up.
Literally unplayable.
To add that touch of environmental
I want my Morrowind cave names back.
Bethesda is known for.
Aggressive creatures have been disrupting our experiments. Their habitat isn't far from here. If you could take care of them for us, we would be in your debt.
So even if your friends were to visit the same planet that you had, you would have a different story to tell.
Yeah, I did have that on my list of things I'm not too big on right now. We'll have to see how it plays, but I mean, I get it. I get it for what they're trying to do. And if that is how they solve the problem that I was asking before of what if I just want to fuck off and run for 6 hours straight in one direction? If it's diverse enough, and if the encounters, you know, are diverse enough, if the sandbox of the game itself is diverse enough, there are enough weapons, which later on it does look like there are a fuck ton of weapons. If the skills are different enough, if you know, rolling a new character and going through those encounters, while they may be similar, is still fun to take them on a different way, then possibly W? We'll have to see. But I think the combat looks fantastic. I think the animations look great. Ragdoll is, we're so fucking back. Ragdoll. This is a legendary items. It looks like a similar system to Fallout 76 in a way, which is one of the few actually pretty good things that Fallout 76 does. But this is kind of cool though, right? So he finds a helmet here, and it gives +2 to like hacking, right? I think that that's cool. Having items on hand. I hope that there are certain loot items that could maybe give you an extra rank in a perk. So maybe you could wear a helmet that gives you +1 in a skill that you haven't invested in.
Completely up to you, how you want to interact with each planet. Whether you want to explore and see what you can find, harvest resources and be on your way, or simply take in the views.
Some of the shots are
with the help
really
of your
good
scanner,
looking.
You'll chart the uncharted and
The
discover
lighting,
exotic
all
wildlife.
that stuff. Although I don't really care too much about all that.
If you have the skills, you can even figure out that certain creatures and plants, you can build an outpost and produce resources from those plants and animals. You can get experience and rewards for fully surveying planets and fully surveying a whole system.
When we were
it looks very viable for a pacifist build. If all you did was survey and ship different things and mine and sell them off and add perk points to surveying and probably some of the social skills, it does look like a pacifist build is going to be very possible.
Accepting these creatures, we really wanted to think of them as natural to the environment. We didn't want alien monsters. We wanted native wildlife.
We didn't want alien monsters.
Something
Shows a
you've never
fucking
seen
mutant
before.
crab. Look at that. It's an alien monster. What are we
When
doing
it comes
here?
to our exteriors, when the sun moves, all that light is calculated in real time through the atmosphere. Our biggest goal for lighting with Starfield was to make the game feel more filmic, to use lighting.
Yeah, I think the
and
art style
color
is
to really
really
make
fucking
it feel
cool.
more cinematic.
I do like it. Come on.
After some
Can I
exploring,
get those shots
you can
in,
find a spot to set up a base camp. Outposts can be built almost anywhere on any planet. And the habitat modules come.
I love, and it's worth noting, I do have in here in my notes that this show is much more, this show felt much more real and less show-offy than the, if you guys remember the classic, what was that? Oh. Moon Sugar, thank you very much for 13 months. Thank you for the tier 1. If you all remember the 2015 Fallout 4 showcase, which in my opinion, I actually just rewatched this the other day so I could check myself on it. It hasn't aged that well. You know, it was about a 20-minute showcase, but you had 3 minutes for Fallout Shelter, another, 2 or 3 minutes for the Pip-Boy mobile app. And then a ton of the showcase was about settlement building. We are 37 minutes into this showcase, and they talk about settlements for like, what is it? A minute. We got 60 seconds. They're an afterthought.
Come in all shapes and sizes, filling all different purposes. You can even live in them. Assign crew and companions.
They're like, yeah, I guess you can make a settlement in this one.
To work at your outposts for added bonuses and set up extractors to harvest resources while you're away.
Something cool we have this time is we have a new fly cam where you can toggle between on-foot building,
Fucking
or
thank
you
God.
can now use a
That's
top-down
actually-
isometric camera, which helps plan out larger parts of the outpost and placing those larger halves. So that way you can really plan your structures and what the overall feel of your outpost is.
It looks more like, instead of trying to build your own structures like in Fallout 4, it looks like there's just space structures that connect together. Maybe you can do a full custom thing, but right here it looks like there's, oh, I guess there's a tab. They're on the structures tab. Maybe you can individually build rooms.
And then when you're on your feet, you can really decorate and fine-tune things much easier.
Like, the settlement doesn't look like an abomination, which is what all of our Fallout 4 settlements looks like.
Add crafting and research stations in your outposts to utilize any resources you find or already have.
They're not supposed. You're right. They aren't supposed to
Mod your
look
weapons
nice.
to adapt them to your playstyle. Different weapon sights and scopes, larger magazines, a selection of grips and barrels, different ammunition like explosive rounds. All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor.
This is a huge flex. Okay, does anybody remember in the original Starfield showcase, the guns that they showed off like 2 or 3 guns, and every gun looked like the Institute rifle from Fallout 4, this big blocky fucker that just blocks off half the screen. I felt like this section of the reveal was kind of a flex where it was like, oh, our guns actually look fucking cool now.
All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor.
Like, look at... That's not a Bethesda gun. No way.
You can also choose to go hands-on with melee weapons.
I think it's always a delicate balance between like what's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood. And I think we sort of err on the side of like what's fun for the player.
With Starfield, we've completely overhauled our combat. It's more dynamic, the animations are more fluid.
Love that. This is just a meat grinder.
We probably have more mods and more weapons in this game than...
Wait, there it was. There it was. That was the blocky Institute rifle.
We probably have more mods.
There, this one. It's totally this one. This one is totally the blocky Institute rifle.
Mods and more weapons in this game than I want to say any other game we've done before. There's a lot of variety.
Upgraded gear is just one of the many factors.
Where like in Fallout 4, we had combat rifles, pipe weapons. The modularity of the weapons in Fallout 4 really led to, you know, it felt like there were maybe like 10 guns.
Pay attention to when engaging in combat.
Looks like there's far more here.
Switch things up based on your environment. Gravity is different for each planet, and boost packs are excellent for getting around. And for giving you an edge in combat. Sometimes you'll even feel like you're flying.
Because you are, it's a jetpack. I know, that pissed me off the first time I watched this.
Zero gravity environments pose a different challenge. Firing a ballistic weapon in zero-G will actually push you backwards. Energy weapons, on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting experience.
That looks so good, actually.
Energy weapons on the other...
Like, as they take shots, they started to do this a little bit in Fallout 4, and I know, like, again, when you talk about the animations and how enemies react to getting hit, I'm kind of always just comparing this to their last title rather than looking at every AAA, you know, shooter.
Their hand offer a more stable shooting experience.
The way that they get shot in these couple of clips looks like it's very like bam. If they got shot in their arm kind of like right there. That one.
Weapons. These are high-powered electromagnetic induction ballistic arrays. Each barrel has its own
smart weapons from Cyberpunk
targeting laser and can dish out some serious damage. Whether you want to get up close and personal with your own 2 fists, or you like more compact weapons like pistols and submachine guns, or maybe you prefer something bigger.
I would have liked to have seen more of the big guns.
Starfield's got you covered.
Bigger. 35 months. Thank you, Mick. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I love the landmine toss just being the exact same as Fallout 4. Love that little... They were, Roussel, they were pretty light on melee weapons, but they were here. Melee weapons, honestly, we won't know about until we play the game and we can see how they really feel. But I do wish they covered more melee weapons. AJ, thank you very much for gifting a tier 1 to who got it? Toiler. Ready for it? Wait for it. Love the ragdoll.
Thank you, kind sir.
So
Thanks again for being with us today. We are just so grateful
some kind of ability
that you've taken the time and spent it here. I know there was probably a lot to take in. There's a lot to the game, even more than we could show here. You know, as we play it, we're always sharing these unique and special moments that only a game like this can bring. When I think about what makes it special, it really is the people here. This game is a reflection of the incredible and passionate team that made it. All of them putting something special of themselves into it. So let's hear some of their favorite moments.
Absolutely loved that about this showcase. That, I mean, we went, you know, what was it, 35 minutes without Todd Howard. Everyone else was able to talk about it and, you know, talk about the specific things that they worked on.
I love the way that our final combination of all the new tech has come together to create some of the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises we've ever had in any of our games.
I love the creatures, the exploration.
This game is going to be a desktop background simulator. There's going to be so many really great screenshots.
Every biome is different. The word that comes to mind is vast.
I like to use our photo mode to take rockstar photos.
Time out.
I like to use our photo mode to take.
This is the exact same thing as Fallout 76. The same exact UI, photo borders, all of that. Photo mode finally in a, you know, genuine single player Bethesda game. And I hope that they also took, I changed my mind. It's not the, wait, did I say that the legendaries were the best thing in Fallout 76? If I said that, I was wrong. It's a good thing in Fallout 76, but the best feature in Fallout 76 is photo mode and the fact that the photos that you take in-game are then used as your loading screens. It is an understated, underappreciated, underrated feature, and I fucking love it, and it's awesome to see it here. AM Prospect, thank you very much for the Prime. You disagree photo mode is lame? Really? Oh, I think it's great.
Take rockstar photos.
I just love that constant feel of discovery and wow, I can't believe that there's more here.
I'm most excited about our outpost building systems.
No, you're not. Hey, come on now. Come on. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I'm definitely going to do it and have some fun with it.
My favorite part is every time you step out on a planet, it's a unique experience.
You spend all this time building your ship, and you see it on the landing pad. These things are gigantic.
That's pretty
it's
cool.
the kind of thing that you just can't get anywhere else.
Candida Crusade, thank you very much for the tier 1. How you doing? How's your Monday?
There's something about seeing a tower over in the distance and going, I know the gravity's low here.
You can go there.
I think I can make that jump.
My favorite part is biomes, spaceships,
audio design,
planets,
the day-night cycle. Those details matter to me.
Diplomacy, exploration, freedom,
the ending.
Vasco, obviously.
I love the robot so much.
The incredible amount of worlds we created.
Sniper.
I love
diplomacy, exploration, freedom,
the ending.
What was that about, Will? I mean, I loved Far Harbor, and I can't wait to play Far Harbor again soon and kind of go through it for the channel. He did a great job with Far Harbor. What do you mean by that?
Vasco, obviously.
I love the robot so much.
What do you mean by that?
Incredible.
Can I call it right now, actually? Can you guys hold me to this if I end up being right? Or if I end up being completely wrong? The ending is going to be a huge cliffhanger. The first expansion for Starfield is actually going to be, it's a story expansion. I think we'll see that at the end there. That's another negative that I have on my list of things, because I will totally shill, but I can't shill too hard. I got to keep myself in check a little bit. But I genuinely think the way the game is going to end on a huge cliffhanger of you just found an ancient alien civilization who are humanoid to some level. That's my kind of prediction there. Shane, thank you for the tier 1, half a year. Thank you very much. Loiben, yo, 3 months. It's 4 months actually.
Amount of worlds we created.
Sniper rifles, come on.
Lever action, rocket launcher.
Brain sprout. I love, but some people might find creepy. I don't know. I know that's right, Ben. The thing that I enjoy most about the game is the freedom to...
Okay, I want to go to this beach. I want to go here. I want to go to this place and, I don't know, put a landmine in one of the lawn chairs and wait. I hope there isn't... That's another thing that I want to see, and another massive question mark I have is, can I go to this beach resort and just light people up? I really hope, and that's one of the biggest disappointments of Cyberpunk for me, is that all these NPCs that are going around are kind of just like empty shells. Like in Skyrim or in Fallout, in like New Vegas especially, if you waste an entire neighborhood, there is, you know, you just kind of fucked up your game a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that if you go on a rampage here, it should totally fuck up your game. And I'm not saying that if they are all just generic NPCs that don't actually have a backstory and any lore, I'm not saying that that would totally ruin it, but can I do that? And will I get chased by the law and get into a sick shootout in the streets? That I have no clue on. And I would be pretty disappointed if that wasn't really a part of this game.
To be who you want to be, do what you want to do. It's what you've come to expect from a Bethesda title, but on a much bigger scale.
On behalf of all of us, we can't wait for you to play Starfield.
Thank you, Todd.
And make your own special moments.
Main engines go. Good luck, Constellation. You are go for launch.
Okay, so let me get to my last complaint that I have and then kind of wrap this up a little bit. September 6th is not the launch date for a lot of people. The launch date for a lot of people is September 1st. Because this is just kind of how it is now with every game. Diablo did it. Every big major AAA game is going to do this from now on, where they're going to want you to get the upgraded version to get 5 days early access. So that means Game Pass players are waiting an extra 5 days that everyone's going to already have their hands on it and, you know, have either impressions or reviews or stuff like that out.
His left sock, and I'd buy it.
I can sell you his left sock. I hate this. And it's weird, especially in the position I'm in, where it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm getting it as early as possible. I have to. You know, I mean, I don't have to, right? There isn't some huge race to put out a video on this game, at least not for me. I'm not a news channel. I'm very blessed in that I don't have to be, you know, a news channel that has to be there right on day one to get my impressions out as early as possible. I don't think people are interested necessarily in hearing my impressions or breaking down sort of the game and its systems or reviewing it. I think people want to see me do stupid shit and have fun with the game for the most part. There is a story expansion. So we already know that this game is going to have a story expansion, which I think is pretty cool because I do think it allows them some leeway in terms of probably not writing. I don't know. That's another thing we don't know about. But that's my last negative. I hate this early access bullshit. It's so fucking dumb. It's kind of just industry standard, but it sucks. It's just a bummer. I love, you know, everyone being there on day one at the same day, at the same time. Obviously, I'm also bummed that the game isn't exclusive. I wish it was on PlayStation. Selfishly, I want as many people to play this game as possible because I can only, you know, seek to benefit from it selfishly. Admittedly, I got to be honest with y'all, right? Like I am a shill. No, it is on PC. It's on PC and Xbox. So, kind of wrapping it up, I think what I'm most excited about in this game is that there is a clear upgrade to the roleplay and combat sandbox from the previous 2 games that have gotten, or that do get, unless you really try hard to limit yourself in certain ways, they get very homogenous. And this looks like that there are a lot of different ways that people can tackle the different challenges. There's still a lot that's unknown, but overall, I thought this was a fantastic showcase and a clear improvement over the last showcase, which right now looks... Ugh. The last showcase did not look very good. I hope the writing is a step up. I'm not expecting Scorsese or, you know, anything incredible, right? I'm not looking for Christopher Nolan or anything nuts. But if it was on par with Far Harbor, that would be perfectly fine. I hope the factions are fun. We don't know how that's all going to play out, right? All the usual kind of Bethesda stuff that we yell at each other and argue about and complain. This questline was better. This one was better. The lore here stunk. The writing here stunk. I do like going in completely fresh, where there's no sort of previous lore to build off of, or, you know, retcon or make any changes to. It's just a fresh, completely blank slate. I think that that's a lot of fun. We still don't know how modding capabilities will be for this game. You can already tell that there's probably a lot of things. The first probably big one is going to be a bunch of, obviously nude mods, probably a bunch of Star Wars content. First thing someone's going to put into this game is a damn X-Wing. But I do have one concern for modding, and it's if the planets generate as each new player arrives to them, how does that affect a modder saying, okay, on this planet, I want this exact structure in this exact spot, if that portion of the game world isn't set in stone? That does concern me a little bit. But overall, I'm very much looking forward to this. We are going to play it quite a lot, and we will have an incredibly strict spoiler policy on this channel for the first 2 months that this game is out, at least until I beat it, which is probably going to take me a long time to beat it, just because I'll have my own personal playthrough and then I'll have a meme stupid one for whatever challenge or video we're recording. But I don't know, maybe when we do play this for the first time, I'll just do a couple videos on the first playthrough and try to be as cinematic as possible with the tools in game. So, am I excited for Starfield? Because people are probably going to ask this quite a bit over the next few streams, over the next several weeks. Yes. I am unbelievably excited for this game. I think there were a lot of things in the showcase that struck the right chord for me with what I was looking for, which again was mainly expanding and opening up the sandbox for just more build possibilities, more roleplay opportunities. And it looks like between the ship, the perks and skills, the backgrounds, the traits, and the different kinds of crews that you can build together, having their own skills and all that, it does look like that there's going to be a lot of different diversity for a lot of different play styles and playthroughs. Again, we got to wait until it's in our hands, and we're playing it. But based off of what I saw, there's a lot to like. And then there's question marks. Have I covered the Outer Worlds yet? I have not. Or wait, no, I have, but not for the channel. So, all right. That's it. Upside down thumbs up for you. Sci-fi doesn't interest you? That's all right. And yeah, there are going to be some people who maybe sci-fi just isn't their jam. I love, I love it. I've been kind of waiting for a game like this too for quite a while. Tried No Man's Sky, tried Elite Dangerous. Neither of them really strike the right chord for me. So we'll see. Now, where's I need to update my music. I still have the tunes from before.